Welcome back, everyone. Sorry for the delay in this week's video. I know for some of you you'll be seeing this pretty far in the future, so there's no delay for you at all. But it's been kind of cold here, haven't had the chance to get any work done. I wanted to let you know what's on the horizon, what's coming up in the next 2 weeks, and a couple of changes I've made to the lineup of projects. So, for those of you who have been watching the videos, you know that I do a lot with this one. This is my M820 5-ton. My original plan was to convert this into a motorhome. So I've been working on soundproofing the cab, getting it insulated, getting it a little more modern. And then next plan was to strip that box off of there. I originally tried to rebuild it. That's why you see the tarp over it with all the outside sheeting removed. I was going to make a steel frame for it, insulate it, and convert it over, because this one is the expandable box, so I figured that'd be great for size and space. The problem is, I've just found that there are a few things about this truck that I just can't seem to overcome. So I live in a part of the country where any trip I take is going to involve a highway trip or some kind of back roads, but I don't live very close to public land. Now, these trucks are perfect when it comes to off-road. You really can't stop them. But they're not designed for highway travel. They seem to max out at about 45 or 50, or at least this one does. In order to improve that at all, I was going to have to swap out the engine, put in a better transmission. Then the other problems I have with it, the cab. So you see the way this is designed is a single cab, which I really like, actually. The disadvantage to it, unfortunately, is that if I wanted to carry a family or friends or even pets, there's not a lot of room in that cab. So I'd have to expand it or extend it, which I planned on doing, but that eats into my available space back here in the back. So in order to add another seating row, I was going to have to either add a second cab to this truck or build something new. Have to move the spare tire, and then it would cut me down to about 15 feet of available space back here, which is doable. But then I'd have to use the cab over to get the kind of dimensions in the camper that I was looking for. Also, these axles. So I don't have a lot of experience with 5-ton Rockwell, so if anybody is more adept at this than I am, please feel free to chime in the comments. I'm happy to hear your interpretation or your information about it, but these things just don't seem to be designed for long-distance overland travel. Or at least it seems like they assume that you're going to have a motorcade with you and the ability to swap out gaskets and seals and rebuild them on a regular basis. Well, yeah, I can do that, but the problem is I want to be able to drive it pretty far on just with me or just with my family. The disadvantage to it is that these are some big parts. And yes, I can work on them here at home, but to do a seal swap out in the field is a little more than I've attempted before. So I'm just not sure about it. Other issues, they seem to just max out at about 55 miles an hour. And I get that, I absolutely do. The problem is, like I said, I want to be able to take it on highways. Maybe not interstates, but I want to be able to do state highways anyway. And it'd be nice to actually be able to do something close to the speed limit so I'm not continually having to pull off the road to let people around me. So anyway, I think I've decided this will no longer be my camper. So, next weekend, I'm going to pick up its replacement. So I'll show you what that one looks like when I get down there to get it. I've already purchased it, just have to do the paperwork to get it up here. But it will be on its way soon, and I'll be spending a lot of time tearing it apart and rebuilding it. So this truck, I'm not quite sure what its future holds. As of right now, I'm not planning on getting rid of it just yet, and I will finish the cab upgrades that I started. It's actually pretty close. I've got all the sound deadening in that I wanted. I need to put the carpet back in place and then start bolting things back in. But it's really quite close to being finished. So I don't know. I might pull the van body off of this or use it for material transport, strip it out, put some sheeting back on it. It'd make a good moving truck potentially. Even though it's licensed as the cargo van that it is, it would be possible to swap out the bed, just like you would on a pickup truck. I don't know how illegal that would make the thing, to be honest with you, but I could certainly put a standard 14-foot bed on, even put a dump ram underneath it, and give me some really good materials transport for hauling gravel and dirt and topsoil and things like that around. I've got a small tractor. It'd be nice to have a dump truck to go with it. So, I don't know. As of right now, the thing's paid for. It's just taking up space. It doesn't really have any negative effect being here. Or at least I don't think it does. So, for now, I'm just going to keep it here. I'll run it periodically and maybe drive it a little bit every now and then. Just to keep things lubed up and ready to go. And we'll see. Maybe somewhere down the road I'll sell it. But I also have this truck. So this is the one I used to drive as a daily driver. It needs some work before I put it back on the road, but I'm planning on upgrading the turbo. The turbo and fuel injectors are not aligned right now, so there are some disadvantages to that combination. Lots of black smoke, nowhere near enough power off the line. I need to fix that. So it's been sitting out here for a while. I like the utility bed. Initially I didn't think I was going to, but I do. However, it's getting pretty rusty. I tried to keep the paint touched up, but as you notice down here around this bottom door, you got a lot of rust bubbles here. So if I want to use this one for standard transport, and obviously this one can tow a trailer just fine. So I think I might pull this bed off of here, put on a flatbed in its place, and maybe put a dump ram on this one. I don't know. Anyway, so we'll see. These two trucks kind of serve a similar purpose for me right now. So I guess we'll find out which one I decide I want to keep and which one I want to get rid of. But anyway, one of these two is going to be getting some upgrades here soon. And coming up in the next week or so, you should start seeing some videos about the replacement motorhome. So, again, sorry for the lack of a project video this week. I know I've done a couple of these updates recently. I talked about the Bronco, which I do have parts for. As soon as the weather's a little bit better, not quite so cold, and I can actually do some painting and prep work out here, I'll start working on it too. So, to let you know what's coming, new vehicle, new project, and the Bronco will be picking up here shortly, as well as working on some of these that just need a little bit more work. So, hopefully you all are having a good holiday season. Merry Christmas, and we'll see you sometime next week. Got a couple of other indoor projects I'm going to start working on too while the weather's this way. See you over the next horizon.